You are reading this for a reason, and before you think this is just another message, I want you to understand that nothing about this moment is accidental, nothing about your timing is random, because every single thing that led you here was part of a larger alignment you couldn't see yet, and Chapter 1 is not about motivation, this is about awakening a truth inside you that has been silent for years, maybe decades. Because deep down, in the quiet parts of your mind, you know you were meant for more, but you spent so long shrinking yourself to fit into environments that never understood you, people who never valued you, situations that drained you, and trauma that shaped you, yet here you are, still searching for something real, something meaningful, something bigger than repeating the same days over and over again. And the reason everything started feeling uncomfortable in your life recently, the friendships that don't feel right, the conversations that feel empty, the goals that don't excite you anymore, the places that feel too small, is because your soul is outgrowing everything that was built from fear instead of purpose. You are not the same person you were last year, last month, or even last week. And yet you keep trying to hold on to identities that expired, and this is where Chapter 1 begins, with honesty, because nothing changes until you admit the truth, and the truth is you have been hiding, not from the world, but from yourself, hiding your potential behind excuses, hiding your gifts behind insecurity, hiding your voice behind silence, hiding your dreams behind fear of judgment. And it's exhausting pretending you don't care when you care deeply, pretending you're fine when you're breaking inside, pretending you're strong when all you want is rest, and pretending your life is okay when you know there is something more waiting for you, something powerful, something divine. And this message is the start of remembering who you truly are, not who the world programmed you to be, because from childhood you were taught to doubt, taught to fear, taught to stay small, taught to follow, taught to survive instead of thrive, but survival is not your destiny, evolution is, expansion is, awakening is, and that requires unlearning everything that kept you powerless, and this is why life placed you in situations that forced you to grow, situations that broke the old version of you, because sometimes destruction is the only way transformation can begin. Sometimes everything falls apart so everything real can come together, and I want you to know something very clearly. Your pain was not a mistake, your heartbreak was not punishment, your failures were not proof of weakness, they were training, preparing you for a level of life where faith matters more than fear, discipline matters more than motivation, alignment matters more than approval, and intention matters more than speed. Because life is not measured by how fast you get something, but by how deeply you transform through the process of getting it, and transformation always begins in silence, in the moments no one sees, in the nights you cried quietly, in the decisions you never told anyone about, in the sacrifices you made without recognition, and in the battles you fought alone. And those private wars built a version of you that is finally ready to step forward, ready to rise, ready to choose differently, ready to become, and Chapter 1 is about understanding identity. Beck. Prison you've ever lived in is the story you kept telling yourself about who you are and what you deserve, but listen carefully, you were never weak, you were tired, you were never broken, you were healing. You were never stuck, you were paused, you were never lost, you were recalibrating, and you were never behind, because destiny does not run on human time, destiny runs on divine alignment, and since you are reading this right now, that alignment has already begun, and your mind might try to deny it, but your soul already knows it's true, you feel it as a quiet fire in your chest, a pressure inside your life, an inner voice saying, there is more for you, and you've come here to remember that your story is not over, your chapter is not closed, the best parts of your existence haven't even happened yet, and everything that once tried to destroy you will become the very reason you rise higher, because pain creates strength, confusion creates clarity, loss creates space, and endings create beginnings, and now is the beginning, the real beginning, not the fake, new start you gave yourself before out of stress or desperation, but a genuine start born from awareness, born from truth, born from soul, and in this new beginning, you do not move from fear, you move from purpose, from choice, from intention, and that means changing how you speak to yourself. Because your words shape your identity more than your past ever could, and you must stop calling yourself unlucky, stop defining yourself by mistakes, stop repeating old trauma narratives in your mind, because identity is repetition, whatever you repeat becomes real, even if it was never true, so Chapter 1 gives you the first real task. You must decide what identity you refuse to carry anymore. Because there is no transformation without release. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding onto who you used to be. You cannot receive new blessings while holding onto old wounds. You cannot open new doors while holding the handle of broken ones, and I know it scares you to let go, because letting go is not the loss of something familiar, it is the loss of control, and humans fear uncertainty. But listen. Everything you want is on the other side of uncertainty, every miracle is on the other side of discomfort, and every evolution is on the other side of fear. So stop looking at fear as a warning and start looking at fear as direction, because fear points to the exact place growth is waiting, fear highlights the door your future is behind, and fear is not the enemy, avoidance is. And you have avoided parts of yourself for too long. Now is the moment to face them, to meet them, to understand them, to rewrite them, and this is the only thing you need to know in Chapter 1. Awareness changes everything, because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you feel your potential, you cannot ignore it. Once you hear your soul speak, you cannot silence it, and once you know you deserve more, you cannot go back to settling, and I promise you, you are not reading this by accident, you are reading this because your life is about to shift in ways you never saw coming, and everything ahead of you is greater than everything behind you. Remember that, breathe that in, because Chapter 1 is the moment you stop living by fear and start living by destiny. You are not here by mistake, you are here because something inside you is waking up. Something inside you is remembering that life is not supposed to be a cycle of repeating pain, repeating fear, repeating doubt, and repeating the same days over and over again until you forget why you started. This chapter is not about what happened to you, this chapter is about who you are becoming. And I want you to understand that growth is rarely visible while you're in it. You think nothing is changing because you don't see results. But the truth is, small changes are happening inside you every single day, every time you choose peace over chaos, every time you choose discipline over excuses, every time you choose to trust yourself when your mind tries to convince you to quit. These tiny invisible decisions are rewriting your entire future, and you won't notice how powerful they are until one day you look back and realize you are not the same person anymore. You're stronger, calmer, wiser, and more aligned with who you were always meant to be, and I need you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you for taking longer than others, there is nothing wrong with you for needing rest, there is nothing wrong with you for starting again, starting late, starting scared, starting unsure, because starting is always more important than knowing how it will end, and right now, as you listen to these words, you are starting a new internal chapter. The chapter where you stop apologizing for